Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to From the Fog Mystery House. And I really ought to do something about all these holes in the roof, huh? Here in the pantry, they're just everywhere. And right now, when winter is just getting started, I am going to be a bit of a homebody now. I really can't stand going out in the cold. And it's just as well, because you guys have been giving me a ton of advice for things I should do. And I think this episode is going to be dedicated to taking it. So, where should we start? Well, first of all, we have added a new mod, and I think that's going to be one of the bigger game changers. Because I've always been doing your fan art right at the start of the video, and perhaps I'll still do that to show all new entries, and just because it's kind of iconic at this point. But also because I've added something new. If I can figure out how it works, hold on. So, if we do this, we can bring out a painting, which we can now, let's start somewhere easy. Let's put something on the wall right here, and it... Ah, look at that! We can actually choose from any number of things. Not only that, but it's got a whole UI of its own. And obviously, you see where I'm going with this. We are going to use this to display your fan art in-game, actually in the house itself. So if I were to do something like literally just drag in a PNG, there we go. Not only can we import an image, we can actually change the dimensions. We can change like the level of detail, actually in a lot of different ways. Now, if we break you down, will it preserve you the way that you were? No, it won't, but if we find you in here, we can select you again, and you'll be fine. I've got an idea for you. Oh, look, we can actually even select a frame to put in it. God, this mod is so cool. There we go, you're there. Which should allow us to perform some shenanigans. Nope, I don't have time for you guys right now. I'm perfecting fine art. Something you guys have actually asked about is what the lore is regarding the Endermen. Because we've established that they are in fact some of the spirits that I'm seeing, some of the ones that haunt this house, but they're obviously treated very differently. I could banish them, but I often choose not to. However, they stare at me from the darkness, forcing me to avert my eyes. I like to think, as some of you suggested, that they are my former subjects, the ones who didn't survive the fall of the kingdom. The ones who were loyal enough that I actually do feel somewhat bad about having essentially thrown them to the wolves. And I can still hear their voices calling to me. Maybe I keep them around because I feel that I owe them shelter. But I still can't bring myself to look them in the eye. Now, this is here, and if one follows the torch, this will lead to something new. Perhaps I could use some company. And I was racking my brain thinking about where that might actually come from. And I think it's been staring me in the face all this time. I just need to make some modifications to get this place ready. Our bed, I believe, was down here in the bar area? No. Oh no, this is never good. It's never a good thing when I don't remember where I left my bed in the middle of the night. Oh, hang on, we'll have to get looking. Oh, where could I have left it? Oh, right. I think I remember now. I think I put it in that little side hallway. Oh, see, this is the kind of thing that I was really hoping for from this series. The kind of time where you would have to move around the house, desperately trying to get to where you're going before time runs out. Yes, you were right here. And I think we're gonna have to sleep somewhere a little bit cheesy tonight, but after this, we're going to be conducting our largest expansion yet. And I know I say that every time, but it's also kind of true every time. In fact, I'm thinking it might just spin off of this library. Or, no, better yet, the end of the hallway where the pool is. Meanwhile, it only makes sense to start expanding our catacombs again, given that it's, at some point in the near future, going to be connecting onto the lower area beside the pool that we just built. So let's start clearing this stuff out. And I also want to start opening up this wall to see just how far it is we have to travel. This actually looks like the foundation of the garden, so maybe we aren't as close as I thought. Okay, we're extending the hall here beside the pool. We need it to go a little bit further than this. So let's just make sure we have the proper foundations. Oh, how nice of you. You brought me an arrow. Thanks, bud. Of course, any number of rooms can spin off from this thing, but what we really want is to lay the foundation for our second tower. And not one like the all-seeing eye up there. No, this one is going to be purely to give ourselves a ton of rooms to sleep in so we never have to worry about it again. Or at least for the foreseeable future. See, you have raised the very valid concern, but it seems like I'm always building outward and never upward. And that's because building upward can be really difficult when you're trying to, like, plan a look for something. But if we start out that way, if the whole point is to be vertical from the very beginning, then we don't have to worry about complicated attics. The complication is when you get a bug like this, where a tree will not be cut down, and every single block acts as a source block. Will you work? No. Yeah, I don't actually have time for this, like, at all, so... That was not nearly as effective as I would have expected. But you guys seem to actually be behaving properly now. Wow, it even blew a hole in the pool, but it couldn't destroy this tree. Oh my god. This undertaking is going to be a huge pain, I can already see. But the thing about Minecraft is that a little pain early on often translates to big gains later. We don't need all this stuff right now. I'm like 90% sure I just saw one. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's time to finally put some of our vast stores of dirt that we've accumulated to use. Because I want to make sure that the area underneath this place is properly filled in. Even if we don't get every block, I at least want to make sure that there's no room to stand, you know? And that is the reason why. But unfortunately, we don't really have any way of dealing with that right now. All I care about was having this as our outline. We'll just kind of stack up some oak for this, and we'll work through the night. Oh, wow, what a party down there. Oh, it's so rare for the Enderman to be the welcome one, and look at you! See, this is why I told you not to run around the pool. You end up like that guy. Actually, can I take your picture to be posted up on the wall? Out of film. Alright, well, you lucked out this time, but if I see you down there later, I'm gonna have to. Oh god, you guys love the pool so much, you're even spawning on the roof. Although, now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of funny how this place doesn't even seem to differ that much from a regular snowy landscape when you're up here. So much variety in the ups and downs of this place, isn't there? It's a regular Christmas postcard. Oh man, my throat is so friggin' dry. But we need to make sure that this thing is closed off properly. We'll take this one floor at a time. There's no way this is all getting built tonight. The sun is going to be rising soon, so we're gonna have to get a little bit creative. Wow, this thing is tough. Get down here, we've got stuff to do. We've slept in here before, right? Yeah, apparently we have. And so has one of the ones who is most averse to water. Why not in here? I mean, really, why not, right? Plunk. You know, fun fact, we actually just broke the very first pair of shears we made in this game. They've actually been serving us well this entire time. That's nuts. I want to start building our ceilings just a little bit higher in places, and for the most part, these hallways are going to be as tight as anywhere else. But for this part, I'm kind of feeling a balcony in the center. So let me just work out where we're going to move that stuff to. I hear the illagers wanting to swing by. So maybe we'll frustrate those efforts just a little bit. I don't really feel like dealing with them right now. But yeah, I'm really, really liking the idea of this, being able to look down from above. And then we'll have rooms off to the sides. Maybe we'll even have balconies on the outside of this thing if the materials and time permit. Which actually, because of this, they should. It's so funny how just like everything is trying to harass me every time I'm doing something that I think is cool. Oh, howdy. Yeah, no, hang on, let me just load up mine. You caught me a little unprepared. There you go. Ow, oh, nice pop-up. I unfortunately do not need or have the time to do that. I also noticed this bow is not the right bow, and I'm not sure how that happened. Like, look at it, it doesn't have the enchantments. Oh, come on, you guys are really gonna play hide and seek? You couldn't win, so you're taking your ball and going home? Oh, no, there you are. Okay, that's the spirit. This is coming along swimmingly. And I'm really hoping that we can do something to light the space up, because this is clearly not going to be enough. This is going to take a lot of building materials, but the beauty of it is that it's something we can add on to essentially infinitely. Every once in a while, I've got to stop and look around and realize just how far we've come. Look at the distance on this. It's literally like all the way across my draw distance that the previous tower sits. That's actually part of my reason for building over here, was because I didn't want to be too close. I didn't want like a crowded skyline. But I did want to be able to see the place from across the lake in more than one location. But it is getting late, and we've got to start preparing this place once more. Because we want to sleep here. If we want like a big common area, it's going to have to be lit up. You guys, there's just anger all around me all the time. My former subjects are literally living in my walls calling out to me. The bugs in this unfinished construction just crawling all over. My god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is the worst. The absolute worst. We've got to make this place livable. Alright, and the obvious way to do that is, well, we can have something here, and one on the opposite wall. And we should be able to... Yes, I've still got a couple of lanterns left over from before. So, boop. So those are 2 for down here, and then we'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that should do a decent job of lighting this area. It's so strange, it's like all this looks like a Christmas postcard. And yet, here we are, sitting in these unfinished ruins, the snow falling, hearing these sounds all around us constantly. It feels so hostile, even as we're accomplishing something that's going to help us so much. Is this part of the curse? Am I doomed to never feel any of my accomplishments? Because that's what Minecraft's all about, you know? Being able to work on something, finally see it to fruition, and be proud of it. But here there is no pride. I've always got to be moving. It's always on to the next thing. I can never relish in my successes. Maybe that's the idea. Sun will be rising soon. Very strange to me to know that this will eventually become a familiar place. I talked a little bit about that a few episodes ago, how I leave every episode with a sort of mental map of what this place is like, and it seems so intrinsic that adding anything to it just feels wrong. But pretty soon, those new additions become part of the map, and so on and so forth. You would think the trend would break after a while, but it simply never does. Still, it'll be good to get a nice cap on here, not only because we can finally start building out some actual rooms, but because we'll make sure that no snow keeps falling into the areas below. There we go. But I'm thinking this might be the thing which finally gets me to invest in more forms of fire suppression, or rather just more of these systems in general, because there's no silver lining if a fire starts here. It's just all gonna be gone. And that is not an investment I really want to lose. There we go. And yeah, it's not going to let us sleep. It's actually considered morning now, but we have made it another day. So happy to see that that counted, because if it didn't, we would have been in actually a tremendous amount of trouble. Hey there, guys. Oop. And I think the seasons may have just changed once more. I've never built a calendar because it costs a clock. And that's gold I just have not been willing to use. Now, the cool thing about this place is that so long as we keep these staircases overlapping each other the way they do, we can do whatever we want on any given floor. It is a completely blank canvas every single time and just endlessly repeatable. So I'm thinking for this one, I kind of want to have like a looping maze. Like, look, it makes sense to have this be its own hallway so that you can quickly and easily just go up and around. And maybe for a lower floor that should be the case, but I mean, the whole point of this is that we ignore should be, right? So I'm thinking we're actually going to seal this off. And so I'm thinking we do it like this. This will be its own room back here. This gets sealed off like that. This gets sealed off like that. This is the back hallway. And then these will only be accessible through whatever room we put here. Oh, hey guys. Are you actually going to try and take a shot from there? And no, you're not. Absolutely no courage in any of you. And if there was, we wouldn't have lost. That's my attitude. But yep, we've got a nice little balcony right here. Oh, do we have enough fences? I think we do. Just enough. Perfect. And it's actually a great angle to admire our new kingdom from. One which, as before, it seems I'm looking down on you from. And this ain't even like a throne room or anything. This is the tenements, basically. There we are. And despite looking like a Chuck E. Cheese playpen, I think things are starting to feel really cozy in here. But we've got to get upstairs and work on some of these rooms. We want to have somewhere to sleep. And of course we can sleep on each of these floors. Kind of weird how I willingly just threw that away. But we have up to like 3 or 4 rooms on this floor. This one, however, is going to be something of a suite. In direct contradiction to what I said earlier, but those guys can't hear me from all the way down there. This one, in fact, even has its own staircase going upward. The other one is another matter altogether, but we'll talk about that later. My God. You really don't like all my classist talk, do you? I mean, it makes sense, given your origin. I guess every once in a while, even while enduring my punishment, you have to remind me not to get too cocky. Some of you pointed out that it actually is kind of a perfectly fitting ironic punishment, isn't it? I mean, I spent all my time building kingdoms while I looked down on those who were actually doing the labor. Now it's me doing the labor, and oddly enough, that gives me more of a sense of pride in my work. It's a task which will always simultaneously motivate and demoralize me, one which I can never stop no matter how tired I become, and I became tired a very long time ago. But one in which the achievements are in fact all mine, so there's only so much it can take from me. Maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm the fuel of my own destruction. Hey, peasants! Snowball fight! No, seriously, I am producing so much snow keeping the floor clear that I have to get rid of all the excess. But anyways, I think this is going to be a job for glass blocks, primarily because we're going to be putting some doors up in here. There we go. And there's our balcony. I'm surprised we don't have more of these. I was actually intending on building one at the attic over there, and I just never got around to it. I just broke a diamond shovel on snow. That's the way things are going for me right about now. 4 o'clock. Why you chime now as opposed to other times is beyond me. 7:35 in particular? But I think since we do have rooms for a few days, we're going to pivot a little bit and start to focus a little bit more on the room beyond the library. We've pretty much expended our entire reserve of oak, but I'm actually in a situation where I don't want to lose any time now that we're doing these really big construction projects. And so we're going to have to do a little bit of combat farming. Yes, we need to get over here and plant and remove as many oak trees as we can as quickly as we can. Yep. Oh god. First time in a while you have genuinely gotten me. At a certain point I should probably build the flash unit, huh? It'd be really useful in situations like this, but I've also got to make some color film. I've had really ambivalent feelings towards that stuff for this entire game, and I think for the sake of variety, it should be done at some point. I should make at least one roll, even if the black and white stuff is creepier and leaves more to the imagination. But you're here to tell me I don't need to use my imagination. Oh, wow. Have I really not been able to sleep in that long? It really doesn't feel like it's been that long, unless... Oh, you know what? Maybe you don't go by sleepless days. I'm starting to think if I miss even 2, probably counts as 4 to you guys, right? It's just that you only come when the game considers it to be night! You guys almost got real lucky, didn't you? Snowball fight! Oh, wow, that is automatic snowball fire. Man, would you look at that? You can already see it starting to take shape. That is so cool. We just need to get over there and make it happen. Since this is the suggestion episode, I am, of course, going to start adding some of your suggested signs. This looks like a good spot for one. There we are. I figured that would be appropriate for the middle of a cozy space, one which is behind the main entrance, so you don't see it until you've been kind of chillaxing here for a little while. Huh, it gave me the same painting twice. That's fun. Now, you might be asking why I'm not making more of the community paintings, and the answer is because I have a plan for that, so just you wait. But for now, we've got to relocate our materials up here. And this still acts as a bit of a sanctum, so that's nice. Although, I do imagine we'd be staring over at the staircase waiting for something to poke its head down. Something with long fingers just peering around the edge. You can tell it's stooping down. And maybe it's so tall that you can tell that it's doing so with great effort. Anyways, that's why we're putting this right over here. Because I like to torture myself. And the great thing about being so high up is that that also means we're actually going to get to sleep. There we go. The sun is shining. And there's our kingdom. Oh, wow, the view of the peasants is the same as before, too. Huh. It seems like the local Enderman population is actually spiraling out of control. Honestly, I had always intended to be alone in this house, but clearly we're developing something of a following. I wonder if my rise to power felt similar. I mean, maybe we were just off doing our own thing, as most people are, and eventually there was something about us that just attracted more to our cause. It's just that they thought it was something greater. They didn't realize my cause was me. I always have to be on the lookout, though, and remember that I can't just leave these things close together. They have to be in, like, redstone range, or they're not going to do anything. It's just I can't afford to make any mistakes regarding this tower. I've invested too many resources, too much time, too much effort. But now we've got to invest that effort elsewhere. And with this, our inner sanctum is complete. And, oh my god. Right, no film. Guess the only thing left is violence! Well, anyways, it may not seem like much, but once we get some proper lighting in here and adorn the walls, this will be the place where we keep all our fan art. And if we run out of space in here, we can always just chop a hole right here, and there's room underneath the library to expand into something larger. But that'll all wait until later. Let me just take a boat from one side of my house to the other, because we're gonna need to collect something. Hello? A magma block. Did I place that there? And more importantly, why was it on fire? I don't believe I've seen them do that before. But anyway, for our pool refit, because I do think it's important to keep yourself moving around between different projects, we are going to need a whole lot of cobblestone. Hey, wow, right as I was finishing up, I get rewarded with diamonds. Thank you very much, Minecraft. Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, it's a big bunch, too. This game is so satisfying to play sometimes. But yeah, can we mine our way back out into the cavern this way? We can. And I've found the one that this is all for. Come with me, you. You know, they say that having a pet is proven to extend the lifespan of the owner. And if we keep extending my lifespan, this theoretically could grow to cover the entire world eventually. So I feel like there's nothing better to do with our time than experiment. I'll be honest, I have no idea what possessed me to suddenly go back into the caves where I had first long ago seen this strange creature. But it's a weird feeling. I mean, all this time working for myself, and to suddenly have the interests of something else at heart, something that I want to keep fed and safe? I don't know, I've worked for myself for so long, doing this fills me with a strong sense of justice. This is going to be your home, but even though there's no mobs in there right now, quite surprisingly, it's not quite ready for you yet. Come look at this little one. Everything the light touches is our kingdom. It's night, so this idea falls kind of flat, but I think it actually is quite appropriate because you can pretty much just consider anything you see yours intrinsically. a mandate from the divine. As for us, I think we're gonna crash right about here tonight. This should put us far enough away that we don't have to worry about anything. No wonder we can't sleep. We were right parallel to the roof here. Alright, maybe now we can make something happen. There we go! Good night, little one. Now we can start work on your home. Okay, thankfully minimal threat in there. But after this, we're gonna have to start lighting this up. Don't worry, I have some ideas for that. And... yep. Oh, well, it's a good thing that just some nonsense happened. Now, little guy, don't ask me how this works, but I'm gonna need you to stay in this bucket in my inventory while I work underwater. But don't worry, I've got something that will enable me to work just the same as you. There we are. Should give us plenty of time to work. Just doing some underwater diving. God, how cool would it be if in this game you could actually make a dive suit? I mean, the trick there is balancing it with the fact that you can make a water-breathing potion, but because there's so many things that require certain biomes or that require, like, basically certain starting conditions, I could see there being multiple paths to accomplish the same thing. I mean, look at us. We're in this huge biome, and we have to journey far and wide or make do without certain aspects of the game. So a little redundancy would go a long way. There goes our water-breathing potion. We're not as complete as I'd like to be, but we're pretty close. We are surrounded now entirely by stone of various types, and not by any sand or dirt. And this is looking fairly nice. Although it could certainly stand to be nicer. Wait here. I just have to make a quick trip to parts unknown, and I'll be right back in a jiff. The rot is starting to appear everywhere. Everywhere. Actually, given the new Enderman context, I've come to a horrifying realization regarding why so many of them seem to be here. I've also realized that I could use the nether rollways as a cheap means of getting gold. Or, well, not cheap, it's a lot more effort, but it's certainly doable. An efficiency 2 diamond pickaxe is not a good thing to use on this, though. There's some glowstone as well. Glow dust has a number of useful properties. I've yet to actually collect any, so we could use some of that as well. I may have gotten something even a little bit better than what was expected. We just gotta plan it out a little bit. So we can have one right here. Maybe, let's say 1 and 2 right here. And now we can go boop. And now we've got something that's looking a bit brighter already, but we're not finished there. Because there's no reason why we shouldn't have lights in the water as well. After all, I don't know if you get scared of the dark, and who am I to judge? Actually, I do know. You were living in a cave when I found you. But nevertheless... oh yeah, you're gonna have to get used to that sound. The clock just, chimes every so often. But not to worry. That's actually a little bit spooky. I think maybe we'll do a couple on the ends here as well. There we are. I don't know why. For some reason, it just felt like only being able to see some of the inside of the pool made it so much worse. But there we are. This space at night. And it's actually something of a haven now instead of literally just a breeding ground for hostile mobs. All it needs now is the secret ingredient. Isn't that cute? You have so much space to wander around in. This is so much better than your cave. Oh, look, you can even come along the edges of these platforms when you want to hide. That was originally a practicality thing. But we should probably, in order to keep you from getting trapped in air pockets, place some water here. It should be no problemo. Ah, this is so much fun. And it makes this whole place just a little bit livelier. And wait, what do you look like? Our observation deck actually has a purpose now. It's essentially a baby monitor. I guess this sign is now the creed of every new parent. Alright, let's see about adding the first of the fan art to this place. Unfortunately, I don't think we can back onto that door directly. Oh, the hitbox is going to be difficult with this one, isn't it? Nope, just enough. Well, that was exciting. Let's just extend this out a little bit and see what we can do. So if we go into here, we can go like that. Choose a frame. In this case, birch looks nice. Yeah, wow, this is actually really annoying to use. Like, I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it takes like a really long time to do this and actually get it right and positioned correctly. But yeah, we've got certain things going. I, however, need to sleep post-haste. God, that'll never not be cool, getting to walk through the hole behind my secret portrait to get there. Now, as for up here, you might be, oh my god, wondering, whatever happened to that other stairwell? I mean, we have the one over here that we can enter, but what about the other? There should be a parallel one. Well, this being a mystery house, I figured it could work this way. You come up here, down the hallway will be the entrance as usual, and it's just kind of hidden away in its own little space, completely sealed off from the rest. Even when you're silent, it's clear you're always watching me. I used to really dislike those instant disappearances, but I feel like not only does it give something for you to find, but it's also, like, it's one of those did I see it things. The kind of thing you even question yourself about. Gotta say, I love winter. I never want it to end because it just looks so pretty, especially in this area. I love walking around in winter. I love building in winter. I love the nights most of all. I don't know. It may not simulate the muting of sound, but I still, nevertheless, kind of feel like it comes across. I have just made myself some color film, why not? And if we're going to capture spirits, I think we should make sure that we capture something like you. There we go. There will be no mistaking it now. Okay, but we've got work to do. We've got to continue building our tower. We're definitely not going to come anywhere close to finishing it in this episode, but I think we can get a good portion of the way. How are you doing, little one? Looks like you're thriving. I was kind of worried, and this sort of has come to pass, that the mood of the daylight coming through would be a little bit lost with the glowstone. But this thing was such a hive for enemies that honestly, I prefer it this way. And wait, let's get our first photo with you. Something where you're prominent. There you are. Now one with you facing me. There we go. Nice angle. Here is one legitimate use for temporary torches, and that's we cannot do it this way. Get out of here. And that's to just place them around so that I do not have to use any shovel condition getting rid of all this snow. I got so used to the previous series where I had like so many diamonds, I was just like, you know, making tools with them without a second thought. That's gonna have to end. And that's actually working really quickly, wow. You know, look, I was looking at this thinking, oh no, I'm gonna have to come up with a solution because the top of the walls is the floor of this floor with the way I've counted this out. But then I thought, you know what? It's a mystery house, and we don't have to worry about any of that. Why don't we just make it so that literally the floor pattern is the previous floor, all while not conforming to that with our room design? If anything, that'll just be really disorienting. Like, you can be on this floor trying to figure out, wait, which one is it that's below me? And you can't really tell because it doesn't conform to it. Building with slabs really does make everything harder, but I just cannot ignore the material savings at a time like this. Alright, so we've got this going. Maybe it's just something to do with the psychological effect I talked about earlier, everything feeling muted when the snow is on the ground. But coming down this hallway at night, I swear this grandfather clock has never been louder. Okay, I'm getting turned around in my own house now. You know what I've realized is that today I actually forgot to do the fire suppression. I am extremely lucky. That's the problem with starting a new session, is you forget stuff like this. Okay, but tonight we're gonna be sleeping up here, and this is a bit of a maze, and the higher up we go vertically and still hear that, the more concerning this becomes. Largely on the basis that we're far from the ground, meaning it's more likely that you're here somewhere. Okay, well, obviously we can't go to sleep while you're here. If we avert our eyes. Maybe we can make some sort of contact. Okay, I was gonna see if I could spray you with a fire extinguisher. I don't know, I knew it wouldn't work, but I think some part of me was wondering if maybe it would reveal some form. Oh god, I just had a thought, what if it wasn't humanoid? Okay, well, let's not go to bed with such thoughts in our head. In the meantime, we're just gonna start putting glass really wherever we want. Now that is going to be a really nice view. This is what such towers are for. Sun will be rising soon. Okay, we'll place a bed in one of these. Really doesn't matter which one we choose. We might as well choose the smaller one. I usually go with the smaller one first, just so that I have more opportunity to live in fully decorated other spaces. Here's a thought. What if we had a little balcony that just wraps around like a little part of this? We'll make it somewhat safe, but also not really very. Just enough where we can maybe probably put like some sort of railing on it at some stage. Anyway, the sun is rising, which will give us a good opportunity to see this place lit through these windows. God, that is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. I'm running out of time. Well, no, I am not, game. No, I am not. Here we are. We want to make sure we get a good night's rest. Something I've come to realize over time is that these doors aren't just for the satisfaction of truly being able to call things rooms. They really are, like, very necessary. I mean, in a space that gets as dark as this, it's very important to make sure that we don't just get ambushed from every direction every day. Oh, and also, this you might have noticed by now that the picture is slightly cropped in. That's just because playing it not in full screen forces me to crop it a bit from 16 by 9. That's because I need that to be able to drag in fan art for the Immersive Paintings mod. But yeah, you guys are still up there. The thing is, like, the game expects you to be dealing with Endermen, and when you just stop doing it, they mostly hang around to stay. It's actually really cool. But, where should we place these things? I've got a couple of spare gargoyles lying around. Why not one right there? Okay, well, obviously, I have to get a picture of the tower from here. But the thing is, I'm also gonna need a shot of vice versa. The thing is, the black and white was good for creepy images. I think this is gonna be a little better for, like, actually comfy. Oh, hey, you've got a friend. I used creative mode to give myself a name tag because I was told there could be, like, bugs relating to you and it's making me paranoid. Actually, there were claims of that as far back as Justice. I don't remember if I ever actually named him. But you now have something fairly generic. I feel like I'm not the best with names. Maybe we'll workshop that in the future. It's all open, don't worry, it won't confuse him. But anyway, while there's still daylight, want to get across the lake and get some photos. Oops. I think the seasons may be in the process of changing, so now is going to be a real good time to get over here and get our stills. Look at this. Actually, no, let's get it from another angle. That way, just how sprawling it is evident with the tower there. There we go. Look at that. If I'm not careful, it'll press the shutter twice. I feel like we'll probably end up having a second dock down here, because it's very clear that we have the same problem we've always had, where there's just not enough entrances and exits to this place. But if we come around to here, yeah, this little temporary thing that we set earlier is just fine. Tell you what, we've got extra. You want to be a little king? How about we give you a protector of your own? Well, besides your new friend. There we go. Something's got to watch over this space, right? And I am a very inattentive parent. I'm preoccupied, to say the least. Literally have to build a new room every day. As a kid, I had this fantasy of just like, I'm going to build a new room onto our house when I'm older. Did not realize at the time what a colossal headache that would be. Now I'm living it. There we go. There's that balcony finished. Dude, I am loving this so much. You are totally right to build vertically. And yes, we need to be doing this in more parts of the house. But I think having a part that is literally just about that is also a cool way to go. Now, something I'm noticing is we really need more windows along over here. So what structure is that? Oh, you know what? That's the upstairs in the connecting hallway. Well, I've got my handy-dandy glass on me right now. Get a shot of that. This mod is so cool. And I do kind of want to develop it in this part. But this double shutter thing that has not been happening before and now all of a sudden is really kind of annoying. Anyways, if we come... Oh, God. Now I'm turned around. Now I'm turned around. I'm actually completely losing my sense of direction for this place. It's finally driving me mad. Oh, sweet. It's finally driving me mad. Okay, if we come up here... Wow, I never fully developed any of this. Okay, what if I remove all... No? Okay, there we go. Alright, and now that should look a little better. Wow, that is some janky windowing. Like, it makes no sense from out here, and yet from inside it just looks like they're placed in the most logical spots. I see you down there. Oh god, looks like a misshapen, malformed face, doesn't it? Even more so when you zoom out. Now, the way I'm pretty sure this is supposed to work is that you put the things in here and then you use resources to create stuff like items. As far as I can tell, it's not actually using anything. And I have to imagine that's like some sort of bug, right? Like it's gotta be. You can't stack them while they're in here, but you can stack them this way. I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth by any stretch, but it doesn't seem right. It literally just never stops. So yeah, kind of seems like the Enderman invited some friends over. That is hilarious, just watching a whole tussle out there. Oh my god, maybe it's because I built that space. In which case, I should probably do the lighting now rather than later, huh? Okay, everybody line up. Oh my god, come on. Alright, now it seems we're good to go. And pending the production of more paper, we should be quite capable of extending our library of fan art. It is so cool to have some way for the community to get directly involved in a series, and being able to do that for the first time in Voices of the Void was really awesome. And it made me think about how cool it would be to do it in Minecraft, like in the original From the Fog. So to be able to get this going now is really, really awesome. I'm so curious to know what this is going to look like from up here. Look at that. That is so cool. Now I'm kind of curious to know how this will come out like in a night shot. Look at that from here. It's practically aerial photography. Any other good views we can get? You can just barely see the old house down there. It's got almost a snow globe effect, doesn't it? Let's do something a little bit meta, shall we? There we go. And while we're messing with color, I believe we only have one shot left. I'd say we could use something that like has that really bright imagery, and well, this is an angle that I've always kind of loved. There we go. I hear that giggle. Let's get it developed, shall we? I don't like the sound of that at all. Actually, it turns out that color film is developed a little bit differently. We're gonna have to use awkward potions in order to do it, which, I'm not sure is how it works in real life, but whatever. I suppose it kind of makes sense that we'd have to have a diversity of potions in order to make up our different developing fluids. But yeah, color film is actually a lot more complicated in a lot of ways. It actually makes a lot of economical sense to stay with black and white. Which I'm taking as a green light, or, well, rather a monochrome light, but you understand. There's our thick potion, and the last one should be... what was that? A mundane potion. Now, if I pop all of you into my crafting menu, by your powers combined, we should be able to get developed color film. If only I had the film right now. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, your eyes can sit watching for a little while longer. In the meantime, I've just got to get this done. The way the door is open at the end of the hall, leaving that glow beckoning me, it's why I really expected there to be a creeper hiding out here. Alright, now I know I'm not going to be able to make it right away, but let's just see what we can do with this. You're going to need all of these things, ain't ya? Oh, God. But even the negatives do look a fair bit different. Oh, that's a lantern. Huh, if you look at the pixels there, doesn't it almost look... I mean, you can't see what I'm doing with my mouse, but doesn't it almost look like a face staring down at me if you look at the top? That's creepy. Hello? I don't know if I've ever seen you just blatantly appear in front of me before. I want to say that maybe we've reached some sort of truce, but I know that's not the case. So, I suppose I'll simply banish you by losing this staring contest. Oh god, I've got to get to bed. I've got to get to bed, like, now! Oh god! Time really gets away from you when you're messing around with recipes and such. Oh no, this is not at all good. The ticking clock is not something I need at this moment. Stairs. Oh no, I really did not make this in a good way. I did not make this in a way that is conducive to good. Oh my god, just let him go, just let him go, just let him go, just let him go. We can fix it, that's no problem. Well, okay, here we are. Let's just take this to another area. This room right here will do us just fine. Man, creepers are the biggest problem for me. Like, the biggest, and there's very little I can actually do about them. They're gone. Sleep. Oh, come on. What's still left? Literally, what could still be left? For a second, I thought that glow on the wall was actually, like, the eyes. I thought they'd finally found me. But, yeah, whatever. At least now that morning is here, we can say that we made it. Yeah, sure I did. I'll be honest, none of this feels like any kind of victory. Yeah, right now I am just on the hunt to try and get myself some magenta dye. I think that's the last thing I need to develop some of these pictures. How are you holding up? Still there? Excellent. That's the thing, is that water is a pretty good insulator. Any creeper explosions, any kind of fires, well, you should still be there in amid the ruins. If anything, having you there is sort of what makes that into a seance room. Although I'm not quite sure what exactly I'm summoning. You might work. Hang on. What do you turn into? Lilac. You're a magenta dye. Okay, let's get a whole bunch of you. Being able to have, like, plants like that as a renewable resource from only bone meal, that's extremely useful. But I think I've got everything I need. The thing about having all this stuff in the hallway is that I always have to, like, squint at the pixels when I enter here now, just to kind of see if there's something hiding there. Now returning to our Sanctum of Vindication. Let's see just how well this actually works. You're not blue dye. Everything else worked, but you're not what I thought you were. I wish it would actually tell you when you mouse over it. Oh, hey, we've got a ruined nether portal. I'm just sailing all the way out here so that I can get some cacti, so that I can get my pictures developed. So, you know, that's a thing. But I could definitely use all this stuff. Curse of Binding. Why would I want that? Nope, 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 no. Oh my god. Like, why? 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 I just got here. Okay, guess we're using a different entrance. That actually doesn't really help me in context. We could go in there. I feel that that's entirely too close. I don't want vintage areas of the house getting destroyed. I guess I'll just wait for you to despawn. Howdy. Would you like to be used as the site of a brand new cactus farm, at least temporarily, since I'm apparently not using the greenhouse at this moment? Just go you. I'm not quite sure how this works exactly, to be honest. This is all we brought back. Boop, 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 boop. Then we can turn you into... No? I was assured that you get made into dye. Actually, I think we may have to dry you out like kelp. Does bone meal work on you? It doesn't. I'm also not sure if you'll actually grow in these conditions, but we need to get more of you going. As it stands, we're only going to be able to develop one picture, I think. The thing that makes this kind of difficult, although I am getting the hang of it, is that they all have to be imported and sized up individually on the spot, because it actually, in here, is where it saves your settings. But yeah, this is shaping up quite well, and, you know, depending on how we Tetris this thing, we actually have the opportunity to cover pretty much every inch. This will never get old to me. Never. I'm actually trying to ride this thing upward because I've been shooed out in just about every other direction. Just mobs everywhere. And I guess it's from here that we'll find out if we're still able to get down there. If anything, it's a shortcut. Wow. This place really is starting to get overrun with mushrooms. What? You heard that, right? I just heard like a deep grunting or something. It almost sounded like the Poombas in the Nether, but it was like it was right in my ear. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm hearing things so much recently. Unless you heard it too. I actually don't know if I want you to have heard it too or not. I forgot, we don't need... It's not the green dye itself we need to make cyan. And now we can choose two things. So, let's put you in there. And we'll see what's makeable, which ones we want. I kind of feel like I want this one. I think you're actually a worthy first printed color. There you are. And what about the next? Well, we've got some nice shots of the place itself. That one as well. But come on, we've got to have some ghost pictures too, right? All this stuff can wait. And, you know, in negative a vision like this, the tower we're working on kind of looks like a cooling tower for a nuclear power plant, doesn't it? I mean, a made-up thing that I do not know exists. That's looking out over the lake. That's this. That's you. Wait. Didn't I have some shots of the eyes? Oh no, there you are. I like this one because look, you can see the darkness on the bottom. That's us peeking up over the ledge of the staircase. So it may not be a very artistic photo, but it is one that I want. Now, moment of truth. Let's see what these things look like. There we have it. We've got you in color, which at least enables others to see that you are there, that you're an unexplained artifact, if anything. And the other? Well, just an old family photo. I'm gonna say, the idea of doing like shorter, slightly more frequent episodes is not really working out in any direction because these still take a really long time to make, and they're only coming out, they're like every 5 days instead of every 7 days. So is that really worth it, being like half an hour to 45 minutes shorter? So I may revert on that. But I don't know, I guess you can let me know what you think. I'm thinking about maybe doing like an abridged version of this, of like the first 9 or 10 episodes, solely so that, wait. Okay, no, I think it's just the colors getting to me. I thought we were starting to fade. I'm getting really paranoid for that to the point where it's happening at like 8 p.m. I'm assuming we probably can't place these in water, right? Also, can we separate these? What was that noise you just made? Do you just yip like a dog? That is adorable. Okay, can we maybe just place you here and you here? I really like this one. And this one is like more of a know your enemy, more of a PSA. I'm a good axolotl uncle. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this mod out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Meantime, I'm going to take a dip with my new pet.